smallest hair on our head to our big toe, even to our pinky toe. He cares for us. He cares for us. Wow. So worship was, awesome. Awesome. And I've been just really excited about this camp meeting and just being able to be a part of it. I thank you, Pastor. And been praying about just what I needed to share. And, we've been involved in getting together with a vision that Pastor has had with the pastors in the area and asking God what he wants to do here in Charlotte County. And we've been crying out to God about, God, make us hungry. How many of you know that before it can happen in a county, in a nation, in the world, it has to happen right here in our hearts, right? And Vern had a vision. I'm going to tell your vision. Is that okay? Okay. Vern had a vision of, he was saying to the Lord, why aren't the people hungry? Why aren't we as hungry as we need to be? And he saw two different situations. I hope I get this right, Vern. He saw two different situations. He saw one body that was just sick, like with the flu. And how many of you know when you're sick with the flu, you don't want to eat? You can have a 10-course meal laid out, and it just doesn't appeal to you because you're sick. And then he saw another body, and it was like people at the carnival. They had already eaten everything on a stick. A hot dog on a stick, a cotton candy on a stick, you name it, the funnel cake, the everything. And they were so full. And then here they are, they get on this ride, and they're zooming around just dizzy, and they're afraid that stuff's going to be coming up, right? And then here we are, with the T-bone steak saying, here, eat. You don't want to eat when you're so filled with all the fullness of the world and the carnival shows. And so here we are, ministers, and we're trying to give everybody a T-bone steak meal. And yet some of them are sick. Some of them just may need an Alka-Seltzer. Some of them just may need some chicken soup. And I say that because I gotta, when you have a lot in you, sometimes, it's just in there, and you just want to give it all out. And sometimes the Lord says, they just need some chicken soup. We just need some wisdom to give that chicken soup. And we want to be hungry for the Lord and for more of him and for this type of worship and for singing his praises. And, and when you think about being hungry, to bake some bread, you create a mess. To bake some good bread, there's going to be flour all over. Have any of you, if you're really going to cook, I don't know. I'm not real good at if I'm cooking, it's going to get all over the place. I'll clean it later. And last night, I know that Corey was down here, and she was like, I talked to her this morning. She was filled with the joy, okay? And you could almost get near her, and you started to catch it. I was like, I better stay out of that right now, But we got to drive home. You couldn't even drive home, could you? And this morning she said, I never had that happen to me. And I said, oh, girl. And she goes, I was almost embarrassed. And I said, you know what? When God's doing something that is supernatural, it is not natural. It is not natural. It feels a little odd. It feels a little bit like, I don't know about this. Is this you, Lord? Is this you, Lord? How many of you have gone through things like that? And you said, is this you, Lord? It better be you. When God does something, you think of a birth. It's a mess. When that baby comes out, it doesn't look all clean with a little bow and, it is a mess. And then there's time to clean it up. And there's some of you, you've been through movements, the Jesus movement, right? Or whatever movement, the revivals. And the bread was baked. And you know, there was some mess then. But we're still trying to eat the moldy bread that you can't smell it anymore. We need new bread being baked. We need fresh bread. And you know what? And sometimes it's going to be a mess. When God moves, we don't know what to expect. I remember hearing Bill Johnson say that somebody had just prophesied over him. This is new. That the first wave happened, but the second wave is going to overtake the first wave. And he says, Lord, I could hardly handle the first wave.